What if the most powerful form of manifestation is the one no one hears? Not spoken, not shouted, just felt, in stillness, in certainty, in silence. In this video, you'll discover how to impress your desires upon the universe not with words, but with frequency. You'll learn the difference between noise and knowing, between wishing and becoming, and you'll begin to whisper in the way that creates from within. The ones who speak least often manifest the most. You do not need to speak your desires aloud for them to be real. In fact, the moment you truly feel the desire within, not as hope, but as assumption, you have already impressed it upon the field. The whisper you send in silence carries more power than words ever could, because it moves beneath thought. It vibrates, and vibration is the language of creation. In the silence of your own awareness, something remarkable begins to happen. You start to realize that the universe was never waiting for your volume, only for your alignment. The still inner whisper is not a lack of action. It is the only action that matters. It is a signal, clear, quiet, and deeply magnetic. And when you send that signal, the universe answers. So do not concern yourself with shouting or striving. The most powerful voice you have is the one you use without sound. The inner whisper is a knowing, and in that knowing, the thing begins. You are not hoping. You are not wishing. You are remembering that creation begins where words end, in vibration. Thoughts come fast, one after the next, scattered, uncertain, and often full of doubt. You think about what you want, what you fear, what might go wrong. But none of that is creation. The creative power lies not in noisy thought, but in focused feeling. And feeling is always quieter than thought. True desire doesn't scream for attention. It sits beneath your words waiting to be felt, not spoken. It hums with certainty, gentle, calm, and undeniable. You don't chase it, you remember it. And once remembered, it begins to express itself through you. So don't mistake mental chatter for manifestation. Thinking is not assuming. Worry is not vibration. You must feel the desire as done, not one day, but now. And when you do, your silence becomes magnetic, because desire, when subtle and assumed, becomes inevitable. A silent intention is not a wish held back. It is a command spoken inward. It does not need words. It does not need sound. It is a vibrational imprint made the moment you feel something as already true. This is how you move the unseen. This is how you impress the field. You may not speak it aloud, but the universe receives it just the same, because the universe listens to energy, not language. Your state of being, your assumption, is the message. And once you live from that message, your world will begin to echo it, not through effort, but through harmony. So set your intention in silence, not as a request, but as a declaration felt deeply within. Let it rest inside you as certainty, not longing. This is not passive, this is alignment. And alignment, when quiet and clear, speaks louder than anything you could ever say. You can say the words 1,000 times and still remain unchanged. Because repetition alone does not create, alignment does. To be aligned is to feel what you are saying. It is to speak it inwardly, not just with your mouth, but with your state. That is what the universe listens to. Verbal affirmations are tools, but without feeling, they are empty. The law is not moved by words, it is moved by vibration. And vibration responds to identity, not to performance. You must become the one who already has it before it appears. Not once, but as a state of being. This is why silent manifestation is so powerful. It bypasses the mask and touches the core. No noise, no force, just pure, assumed truth. And when you live from that truth, not just say it, life cannot help but mirror it back to you. You are not separate from what you observe. The very act of focusing your awareness causes the unseen to take shape. In the quantum world, reality waits for attention, and it responds not to noise, but to precision. The observer changes the observed, not by effort, but by presence. When you hold an image in silence, when you become the one who already has, the field shifts. not because you forced it, but because you saw it as done. This is the mystery behind all manifestation. It's not about attracting, it's about selecting and remaining in the state of selection. So when you whisper inwardly, when your intention is clear and quiet and known, the field begins to conform. It has no choice. That's the law. You're not waiting. You're not wishing. You are observing your chosen reality until it is the only one that feels real. When you speak too loudly of what you want, you stir the waters of the mind. Doubt enters. Logic argues. The conscious mind begins to interfere. But a whispered desire that moves beneath the surface. It bypasses resistance because it doesn't invite opposition. In silence, there is no one to convince. You are not just speaking, you are assuming. There's no question of if it will happen, because in that quiet knowing, it already has. The subconscious accepts the silent message without debate, and what it accepts, it must express. So when you whisper your desire, not with desperation but with certainty, it slips in unnoticed, and yet unstoppable. It roots itself without resistance, and before long, it begins to grow, because what is planted in silence blossoms in reality. The universe does not hear your words, it feels your vibration. Every thought you repeat, every sentence you speak, if not felt, it is noise. But when a single feeling is held with conviction, it becomes a broadcast, a frequency, and the field responds to frequency alone. You could remain silent your whole life and still manifest abundantly, if your inner state is clear. This is the language of creation, not sound, but resonance. What you embody speaks louder than anything you could ever say. And when your frequency is true, life must answer. So speak if you wish, but do not depend on speech. Depend on the feeling beneath it. Speak in vibration, communicate through alignment, and watch how quickly reality begins to reflect the language it understands best. The language you never said aloud. You don't need a candle, a chant, or a stage. All you need is a moment, a breath, a space where the world grows quiet and you return to yourself. In that silence, bring the image to mind, not as a dream, but as a fact. You're not hoping, you're remembering. Feel it as if it's already yours, not with tension, but with ease. Let the version of you who has it rise within you. See through their eyes, breathe their breath. This is how you whisper without sound, through identity, not intention. And once you've felt it fully, release it, not into the air, but into the field. Trust it has been received. Trust that it will grow. For what you send in silence, with clarity and feeling, always returns. Not as echo, but as form. You cannot send one vibration and live another. You must become what you've whispered. If you've sent abundance, walk in sufficiency. If you've sent love, carry the presence of the beloved. The universe doesn't believe what you say. It reflects what you are, always. This is where silent manifestation becomes embodiment. You're not repeating to convince. You're not visualizing to attract. You are being the one who already has. Each moment is an agreement with the unseen, and the unseen always responds to agreement, not effort. So live as the whisper, quiet, assured, and clear. Carry yourself as the reality you've already chosen, and you'll find it not coming, but arriving. Because once you become the frequency, the outcome becomes inevitable. What have you whispered today? And what version of you whispered it? Not the voice others hear, the one only you can feel. That version is already creating, quietly, constantly. So pause here, reflect. What desire have you already sent? And are you now living its frequency? Share with me below your reflections, your shifts, your inner knowing. If this awakened something in you, like this video, subscribe and tap the bell. There is more to discover, more to remember, and together we whisper reality into form.